Hello everyone, welcome to TextQuery. As a part of this lecture, we are going to talk about what is XPath and why we need it. Then we'll talk about how to write XPath expressions. So let's go started with our first topic, what is XPath and why we need it. XPath is defined as XML path. It is a syntax or a language used to find any element on XML document. We also call it as XML path expressions. How to write the XML path expression that we are going to discuss in our coming lectures. Now the question comes, why we need XPath expressions? XPath expressions are used to extract the data content from the XML document. Now the question comes, where we are going to use these XPath expressions in web service. In web service, XPath expressions are going to use to get the data from the web service response so that you can compare that actual data with your expected data. And comparing that actual data with the expected data is nothing but we call it as assertion in web service. So now let's see how to write the XPath expressions. As I have already explained in my previous lectures, web service response are nothing but the standard XML documents. And let's suppose this is our web service response, which has some actual data with full name as Daniel, salary as 4,000, gender as male, and that includes his home address and office address. I want to retrieve this actual data from this web service response. So to retrieve that actual data that is coming in web service response, we have to write the XPath expressions. So before jumping to that, let me tell you, to retrieve the data from a web service response, we always use the absolute XPath expressions. Now what is absolute XPath expressions? The absolute XPath will always be started from the root node and it will have all the nodes in between to reach the final element which we want to retrieve from the XML document. For example, from this web service response, we want to retrieve the full name Daniel. So the root node is the employer. So under the employer node, we have the full name. So how we will write the XPath expression for this? So our XPath expression will always be started from two forward slashes. Then it will be root node. Under the root node, we have full name. By this XPath expression, we will get the name Daniels. So if you want to retrieve the salary from this XML response, so the XPath expression for the salary will be two forward slashes, then root node. Under the root node, we have the salary element. And what we will get? We'll get 4,000. So the similar way we can get the gender's value, and the XPath expression to get the gender will be two forward slashes, root node element, that is employee, then forward slash gender. Now let's see how to retrieve the zip code from this XML response. As I told you, the XPath expression will always be started from the root node. Under the root node, we have the four elements, those are on the same level, full name, salary, gender and address. So you can switch to any of the nodes that are on the same level. But we have to get the zip code, right? So to get the zip code, under the employee, we will switch to the address node. Under the address node, we have home address and office address, both are on same level. If we have to retrieve any information from the office address, then we will move from address to office address. But here we want to retrieve the information from home address. So we have to travel from address to home address. And under the home address, all street address, apartment, city and zip, all these are on the same level. So we can switch to any element to retrieve the informations. But here our objective is to retrieve the information for zip code. So under the home address, we will switch to the zip element. So its XPath expression will be two forward slashes, then the root node element, that is employee. Under the employee, we have the root node element address. Under the root node address, we have the home address. Under the home address element, we have the zip address. And so this will be our this will be the final XPath expression for zip code, and we will get the values as 84123. So now let's suppose we want to retrieve the country from this web service response. To retrieve the country from the root node element, that is employee, we have to travel to the address. Under the address, we have to travel to the office address. Under the office address, we have to travel to the country. So the final XPath expressions for this will be 2 forward slashes, then employee, then address, then office address, and then country. By this XPath expression, we'll get the values as USA. So this is how we write the XPath expressions to retrieve any data from the web service response. Hope you would have understood how to write the XPath expression. Please stay tuned with the next lecture. Don't forget to be awesome. Please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.